I am live right now on mine.
Okay. I am also hitting go live
I guess
on
we'll
my stream,
find
and we'll
out
see if that works.
when it happens. Yeah. I don't have the
Because I
link
am
for mine yet.
confronting you. I'm confronting you about the crashing market, Thomas Storey.
I've heard. I don't
Okay,
agree,
so
but I've heard this.
okay, let's set this up.
I
Uh,
am live right
we are
now.
here to do a live stream because one, we want to talk about the
I am
market, and we're going to
also
encourage
hitting.
everybody to come in here and ask questions in the chat. So I'm
Yep.
just firing up my chat right now. I see some people in there, and we are going to have this rock and roll. If you are coming back to the channel after the live stream, leave comments down below on my channel. I will answer them. Tom will answer them on his channel because I think we're crossing streams here right
We
now.
are. We are
Tom,
inceptioning streams. Not really,
we
but kind of.
Okay, we are live on my channel and also live on Tom's channel at the exact same time because we have exciting news about another channel that we're starting.
So, Steve, we both have channels that have decent followings. We have like over 5,000 each. Why would we start a new channel?
Because we want a different format. I like my channel where I'm cheeky and talk silly about the market and inform people, and you have one that's a little bit more serious than mine and probably more well respected. But we're going to continue our new podcast in audio version as well.
Yep.
And then it will have a new channel. We're going to come back every single week and have an hour-ish long conversation about real estate. And we want to open that up not only to the people that watch us for the real estate industry, but also for the people, or sorry, the market info, but also the industry, because we do have kind of two audiences, right?
We got Jigsaw always has funny comments, and they get me laughing every time we go live. And we've also got the Canadian Real Estate Show on my channel, Steve, so they haven't come to yours yet.
Oh, they like you better. I see how that goes.
Yeah.
Well, we got to encourage people to write some comments down below. But Thomas, first of all, on my channel, I'm going to pop in our new podcast channel. So people can subscribe there if you want. It's also first link down below in the description. But Tom, yes. I'm here to confront you, man, because the Canadian real estate market is crashing.
Well, it has gone down every single month in my market, the center of the universe, Toronto. And it's gone down every month, basically since February, condos since March. And
price point or activity or both or what?
Both. It was absolute insanity to start the year. And if I would list a condo in January, February, or really even the first half of March, I'd have 60 to 100 showings. I'd have 10 to 15 offers. It would sell for a price we never really thought was possible, but you get that many people there at the table and everyone's excited. Yeah. Now, if we get one offer, we're happy. If it's firm, we're thrilled because conditions have migrated back into the market. And we've now slowed down price-wise, showings-wise, and sales-wise every single month since February.
Yeah, we're back to right now. Like we're in the same boat for sure. I got an unconditional offer yesterday. And I was like it was the buyers, they wanted to be in the neighborhood. It was really, really like everything was going good. And, it was like, it's back to normal real estate where it's like the sellers are like, I don't think we should take it. I'm like, this is an unconditional offer. There's like all these months of supply. There's it's now education and educating sellers to accept that the market is not always in your favor as a seller, right? There's two sides to the market.
And let's be honest, the past 2 years, sellers have been spoiled rotten. If you sold a property, you've been experiencing something that we haven't seen in a long, long time in this level in terms of up to at least mid-February, late February, what people could borrow money at, how much savings people had, the fact that there was nothing else to do and people were obsessed with real estate, all these factors built in, and we got used to it. And I think we forgot here that that's not normal.
It has not been normal. The trouble is we are used to it. And it was really fun for a lot of people to get even more than they ever thought of. But what's the reality of the real estate market? The reality of the real estate market is usually the reason agents a lot of the time don't have the best reputation is because they're the one telling the owner of their listing, hey guys, it's not worth what I'm sorry, you're not going to get what you want. And now we're kind of back to normal. So now, are we going to slide so far the other way? I think we probably will for the summer, right?
Yeah,
The question is, where do we even out?
I don't know. I mean, I think my gut tells me that we even out in September in terms of like prices start balancing then. Yeah, 8% of your appreciation is normal for Toronto, at least. Like it's been 7% the last 40 years averaging out, right? That's just one of the comments, and not 50%. So
you have comments. Your viewers like you better. I have no comments so far, so
that's
hopefully
okay.
I get some love soon. Don't forget to click the like button as well to help us get this info out to more people.
Yeah, if you could hit the like button, I would very much appreciate that. We've got a few comments that are hilarious, but I can't read out loud. But like, just so you know, I read them. They're funny. And you know what Daryl was saying from the Canadian Real Estate Show. I don't know if he's still watching, but like half the problem is where people are consuming their content these days. If they're not watching me, you, or other people that at least we think we know what we're talking about on YouTube, they're on TikTok and they're swiping along, and every realtor there is like the market only goes up and it's all good, and like they're just spewing information that, and probably a lot of them are 2 years in the market and they've never seen a down market, and this is all they know, just like it's all sellers have known. And like, I'm not throwing shade at them, they don't know any different, but they're going to learn a lesson very quickly as well.
Mm-hmm. There is so let's say, for instance, if you got your real estate license within the last 24 months, you ain't seen nothing yet. You don't know what it's about, right? You don't know what it's like to, heaven forbid, have to try and figure out how to reduce a price when a seller doesn't want to reduce a price in order to get the home sold, to explain to them how pricing is going, or which direction pricing is going, and where we need to be sold. This is going to be a new skill set for a lot of agents that it wasn't easy because it was a different market, right? It was a market of like, how do I win out of 35 offers? That was insane.
Yeah.
And now it's like, how do I get an offer? Right. So, and which is where it should be.
Right.
You should not be in 35 offers.
So someone asked in our comments, why are realtors still helping clients buy homes when they know it will keep going down after the next 2 rate hikes? And we have a podcast coming out on Sunday, which, by the way, is the reason we're doing this live stream, just so everyone knows. We have a brand new podcast. The first episode is already out. You can watch it video. You can also listen to it on audio. If you go into the description, whether you're watching on my channel or Steve's channel, you can get access to everything. So it's all right there. If you can subscribe to that new channel, we would very much appreciate that. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers before Sunday when we launch episode number 2. But we talked about this on this episode. So, we've had this week, our team helped 3 different buyers buy properties. So why are we helping people buy now, even though we think prices might go down? And I know you already know the answer that you're going to give me, but why would that happen, Steve? Why would we do that?
Well, this is a good segment or a segue into watch our first episode. Because life, man.
Yeah.
Because life.
Yep.
Because not everyone makes their real estate decision. Probably less than 10% of the people make their real estate decision on trying to time the market, right? Your new baby coming on the way doesn't give a rip if the market is down 10% and you need more space. And I would suggest that, if you're reading the comments on YouTube and all the conspiracy and everybody's there, that's one thing. But the majority of people understand, the overwhelming majority of people understand that they need to or want to own property, and that in the long term, it will be a good thing. So if you can stop your divorce for the next X amount of years, maybe you'll do all right in the real estate. But if your wife's like, I'm out of here and I want half the money, it is what it is, right? So the real estate transactions still have to keep going on. The Canadian Real Estate Show did just pop onto my channel, and they're complaining that it's backwards on here. Are you seeing any drops in pre-sale prices as well? I will give my comments, and then for Surrey and Vancouver, and you can give Toronto, Tom. No, I'm
No,
not.
no.
And my suggestion for most people is, I mean, I'm not in the pre-sale space as much as other agents are. My suggestion is don't touch it right now. Honestly, don't get into a new pre-sale contract right now. That's what I would personally be doing. If I'm looking at evaluations and I want to become an investor or be an investor, I'm going to look at present day. I don't want to guess.
They're not going to change price because they bought the land extremely high. Development fees are even going higher. There's inclusionary zoning in Toronto coming up. Like there's a lot of things. Their profit margins are not what they were. There was a condo that just launched in Toronto. If you want to learn more about it, I think Jordan at Pre-Con just did a great video on it. $1,900 a square foot. Now it's like the condo. You're not buying it as an investment. You're buying it to like make a statement.
Yeah.
But like, no, the prices aren't going to change. In fact, they'll probably, instead of changing their prices, just hang tight, not launch projects and wait until things pick up again. But I haven't seen that happen. What I have seen happen in the last 2 weeks, I probably had 6 or 7 people reach out to me that want to move a condo that they bought pre-con several years ago and put it up for assignment sale. So that is now starting to happen. I think people, when they bought them 3-4 years ago, maybe didn't recognize that when it came time for a mortgage, the rate was going to be 4.5%.
Yeah, they could definitely be in some interesting spots moving forward with that. What is this zoning you're talking about in Toronto?
So inclusionary zoning is basically, it was passed by our city, and on the surface level, it's a great idea, right? It's like you're bringing in more opportunities for affordable housing. I'm sure you guys have something similar, maybe, or call it something different. But I forget the exact date when it's coming to projects, but there's a date. You can look it up online. And basically, it's a great idea because we want to help people get affordable housing. The issue is the city's not just going to come in and be like, hey, here's all this housing. We got you covered here. It's going to the developer, and the developer is going to pass it down to the purchaser, and then the purchaser is going to have to pay more money. So it's that on top of everything else is just going to increase costs.
I have a question here, Tom. This may be more for you because you're closer to it, but I know it's not your market. I live in Niagara Falls, Ontario. I'm worried, of course. Everybody's worried right now. Don't be worried. Stop watching the news. Turn off the news. Should I sell and take a breather? How much more downside will there be this year?
It's a tough one because I would have to know all the specifics, and I don't think you want to give us the specifics on this live, but you can email me, tom@storeyteam.ca, and send me the stuff, and I can let you know where things are at. And I also know a ton of amazing agents in that marketplace that could give you a better like micro look at things. From where it was, I think prices will continue to drop for minimum 3 more months, minimum. And in markets like Niagara and other surrounding markets, you guys had a huge run up. So it also depends on when you bought that property and how long you think you're going to hold it for, because the prices there really accelerated, and the markets in which where the prices accelerated are also going to decelerate. That's probably not a word. They're going to come down at the same pace that they went up, because that's just how it works. And I was just telling Steve before I came on here, I did the math. So on a $1 million mortgage, $1 million purchase price, where you're putting 20% down, last year in September, you could get a 5-year fixed at 2%. Okay. Let's say today, let's be fair. Let's just call it 4%, because I know there's some you can still get under 4, but some are over 4 now. The payment at 2% was $33.88 a month. The payment at 4% is $42.08 a month. 25-year amortization, 5-year fixed money. So prices are going down because buyers do not have the same purchasing power they used to, but their carrying costs are still the same, if not higher, at a lower price. And I think that will, if rates keep going up, I mean, there's just no, Steve, can prices go up this year? I don't think it's possible. From here?
I don't think prices can go up. Yeah, no. Prices, I mean, we're definitely not going to see prices go up because interest rates are the gravity of home prices.
Yeah,
right.
That's it.
It's just not going to. So what, not knowing Niagara, I've been to Niagara, nice spot, little waterfall there. the thing that we're seeing here is you've got, like, for instance, where we are, Chilliwack, right? It's an hour out of town, an hour and 10 minutes out of town. That went up 50%. Abbotsford went up 40%. Vancouver during the pandemic went up like less than 15%. So you've seen this swing that necessarily shouldn't have been there. And so you're going to see the bigger drops as people go back to the main city, right? So somebody that increased 50% last year has a greater distance to drop than somebody that only increased, like, I think West Vancouver last year, which is like the richest spot, decreased in price last year in 2021. Decreased in price.
Was it the people from Vancouver buying in Chilliwack and those markets that were running up the prices? So was the Vancouver money doing it anyways?
It's the outward leapfrog, first of all, right? Everybody always moves to the next town over, but investing, for sure. I mean, investing, I bought an investment property. How could I not at just over 1.5% financing for 5 years? So it would be stupid to not have. So it is more of an investor heavy market, and West Vancouver at the average sale price of $4 million is not an investor heavy market, right? These are end users, rich people having property there. So, and we just got thank you'd for answering that question. So that is awesome. I have another one here. Tom, do you got any questions on yours?
I got one. So someone's asking me, what would you suggest for a first-time home buyer looking for a freehold property in the Durham region right now? So for Steve, Durham is outside Toronto, about 30 to 45 minutes, right? You got a lot of different kind of great communities there, but those markets also saw massive increase. I think actually Clarington, which is in Durham, had a 96% growth in the last 2 years. Now, saying that, the inventory in Durham currently is still fairly low. Like, there's still not a lot to choose from. But if I were looking to buy in Durham right now, there's two approaches I would take. If you have a bit of patience, wait till July. I think July 13th is the next rate hike. I got to double check the date on that. Maybe wait till then if you can, because I think you'll buy at a better price after that. Also, I would, if I were you right now, take a look at any property that has been on the market for over 20 days. If it's sitting on the market at a real price for over 20 days, we are still in the phase right now where there are sellers that bought in February or March that are sweating at the moment. And they have closings coming up, and they cannot get bridge financing unless they sell firm. They don't have to be closed, but they have to sell firm. So if I'm looking to buy in Durham right now, I'm either being patient, I'm waiting till after the July announcement. If you can't, listen, if you find your dream house, by all means buy it, right? But if not, I would say wait or look at properties that have been sitting and go take a stab at them, because even in our market here in Toronto, we just got a property $100,000 what it should have sold for a month and a half ago for our buyers.
Yeah. It is crazy the amount of, and I've never actually seen this before. And I've been licensed for a long time, is the amount of people that are sweating they can't sell. They made a purchase first, which I never recommend doing, but everybody always wants to do it. They wants to purchase first. And, I was sweating on a couple of completions, let me tell you. Paul has a question about thoughts on land prices in Surrey, in my market. Land prices can mean a lot of different things. Often in our area, it means, like, what is tear down, build a new house prices. They're for sure coming down. High end or large properties that you're going to subdivide, I still can't believe how insane they are, right? Like that was involved in a couple of years back in really large parcel of land being assembled. And I've been approached about maybe trying to get my client to resell that property because it's not yet done anything with. And the numbers are insane. The numbers are just absolutely crazy. And there are interested buyers.
Yeah.
We are being solicited to try and turn over those properties, right? And that is like, oh, okay, so how many developers are out there with that type of money? And the answer is they're out there.
Yeah, no, they exist. And just to add to what I was saying about Durham, it's like Durham, because in my comments, people are saying Durham's taking a beating right now, and they are from February, like, fair. But I guess you could say that about a lot of markets outside Toronto. If you look back to 2017, when we had something similar happen, where prices really dropped off after the fair housing and foreign buyer and rent control and everything that came in under that Liberal government at the time, if you waited 3 years, you were back to where you started, right? So back to the peak. I don't know this time how long it takes to get back to the peak, but if you didn't buy in February and you're buying now, yeah, you'll probably be fine. But, and then just to go off this and answer another question I saw earlier, which was like, well, what are you telling your clients that bought in February? Because listen, Steve, me and you both had multiple clients that bought properties in February at the peak of the market. And one of the conversations that we had with them at the time was, how long are you going to live in this house for?
That has to be the first question almost every single time, Tom. That has to be like all these. That's the other thing with the people that are in the comments are like, oh, you can't, you don't buy now, never buy. It's always coming down. It's the ultimate bubble. I don't know. Like you have to stop and think further out, right?
Yeah.
Like always I'm talking to people that are like, hey, I want to put down my deposit on this place and flip the assignment or do whatever. I'm like, that's like going to the casino and putting your money on black and just right.
Yep.
Like it's a stupid maneuver. It's, if you do not buy real estate, anybody out there, if you're listening to this, don't contact my team if you don't want to own that real estate for 5 years. Just don't do it because it's risky. It's risky. And you should never, ever play with that much money, right? I'm a tightwad, Tom. You know this. Don't play with that much money if you're not prepared. When I bought my investment condo, we're talking it's a 10-year minimum plan. Now, I hit my budget in a year and a half, so I'm cool with that. But it's a 10-year minimum plan.
But what about primary residence? Would your answer be different if it's primary residence versus investment?
For holding, absolutely. Like it's got to be the same thing.
Okay.
It's like don't buy a 1-bedroom property if you're getting married and planning on having kids within the next 2 years. If you and your wife are getting married or whatever, and you're like, okay, we're for sure on the no kids till 5 years from now plan, sure, get in the market. But don't go getting into a property that you just barely fit into now. You have to get to that next step.
I got a question for you. I saw this. I want to give credit to them, but I'm blanking on who it was. I saw it on Instagram. It was really funny. It was a realtor doing a reel on Instagram, and it was like, when people say interest rates are getting too high at 4.5%, and then he like turns to the other side of the camera. He's like, until you remember that your rent is 100% interest. So,
yeah.
Any thoughts on that? Like, I thought that was kind of funny.
It gets lost, right? Everybody's like, what's my cost in? Everybody forgets that you're paying down principal that goes in your own pocket.
And still at the rates today, 50% from the beginning, almost 50% you're paying down principal in the first 5 years, right?
Yeah.
Pretty close.
Yeah. Tom, we're gonna see who's got a better thing. I've got 6 likes. How many likes do you have?
9, sucker. Hey, if you're watching my stream right now, give me a like so I can beat Steve, please.
You're already beaten. You're already beaten there. Okay, I got a good one here. First-time home buyer here. This is from Roxanne. Will the influx of people moving from Greater Vancouver back to Vancouver, Maine, meaning Vancouver, the city itself, offset the drop in interest as demand is going up? I think that question is, do you think Vancouver will do better than the suburbs moving forward in a down market? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Vancouver will do better because it didn't see, I don't know if Roxanne, if you were on earlier, but it didn't see the increase, right? Vancouver saw 15%, Chilliwack saw 50. So Chilliwack has a lot further it can drop before Vancouver does. So, if Vancouver I think Vancouver may not actually lose much pricing at all, maybe in the high end. But I think we are seeing people wanting to get back into town and back to regular life, right?
Steve, if you had anyone reach out to you at this point that has recognized that rent prices are accelerating very rapidly right now and said to you, hey, if these prices are dropping on a condo from what they were in March and I can get this for rent right now, I'm interested. Like, do you have anybody waiting in the wings, any of your clients?
You sound like you're trying to promote the conversation that we just had earlier for Sunday's new The Tom Storey Show, episode number 2. Link in the description down below, because this is a topic. This is actually the main topic that we cover on Sunday's episode is rents and how crazy they are. So I don't want to spoil that. I want everybody to come back on audio apps everywhere, and either listen to it if you don't like my stinking mug, and or watch us on Sunday morning. The episodes are to release Sunday morning at 9 a.m. So that's episode 2. So I'm not going to answer your question, Tom. I now have 11 likes, so take that.
I have 13, so I will always be 2 ahead of you. Hey, Steve, somebody asked me, actually, not just today, I had a few of these questions. They're like, why is it called the Tom Storey Show? Why isn't it the Steve and Tom Show? And I'm just like, Steve's weird. I don't know. It wasn't my idea. I said we could name it anything. So why don't you give people that reasoning?
Because Fat Man and the Boy Wonder was taken. Here, do you want the honest answers or the funny answers? I'm gonna take a Tums because I'm old.
Yeah. Why don't you take a Tums? Think about it. No, the funny answer you already gave. I think the honest answer would be fun because the people here now spending their Friday either afternoon in your time zone or beginning of the evening in my time zone are probably like the people that really follow us the most. So what's the real answer?
The real answer, it was my idea. Well, it was kind of my idea. Here's the gist of the birth of the Tom Storey Show. We were chatting with another professional that actually, I'm kind of sad that it didn't come together with that person because that would have been absolutely amazing. But, just time commitments and stuff just didn't really work. So it was actually going to be hopefully a 3-host show. And then one day, Tom phoned me and he was like, should our channels be called the so-and-so name show? Like all these like influencer people have like their channel, and it's like the Graham Stephan show, right? And all this stuff. So, and he was like so excited about it. I'm like, I don't know. I don't really care. But then we were talking about, we really want to do this like podcast thing and talk to industry people. It's going to be a really long answer, by the way.
Yeah.
And so we really wanted to do it. And I really wanted to do it probably more than anything. And, we were like, how can we make this work? And then we're talking about it, and Tom's just like, but what do we call it? And this is like a couple days after. He's like, I really want to name my channel the Tom Storey Show. So I knew that if I said, let's call it the Tom Storey Show,
right,
that he would immediately say yes, and we'd have this thing cranking in like 2 weeks. So that's what it's called. Also, Tom, cover your ears. Tom is an extremely respected agent nationally. And let's face it, I wear real estate shirts. Like, this is my company t-shirt, guys. I don't know if you can see this. Tom is taken a lot more seriously than I am. So I'm going to be the fat comic relief. I'm the Homer Simpson of this show.
Steve's the behind the scenes. He's kind of basically editing and putting this all together. And then my job is to show up, maybe say one smart thing and get guests. So that's kind of the trade-off in this, right?
We're hoping that our guests are going to be a heck of a lot better. I've been following your channel since Feb. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate that. Looking forward to your vids. I bought in late April. Wait a minute. You've been following my channel since February, but you bought in April without me. I don't know if we can be friends anymore, Sean.
Maybe he doesn't live in Surrey, Steve. Get over yourself.
I'm hoping 15-20% property increase for 5 years. Is that reasonable? We will tell you in 5 years. Is it reasonable to think? I think we're going to see 18 months of at least downward trend, if not total bottom, before things turn around the other direction. I think the market will start going well again as soon as they don't make an announcement on one of the Bank of Canada rate announcements, or they even make a decrease. My thought is they're ratcheting up to ratchet back down when they know things are going to get bad. So do I think I see 15% in 5 years? Maybe. I hope that in 5 years we are just back to a spot where people buying today are profitable. So I personally think we'll see 5 to 10 in 5 years. But guessing 5 years out in real estate is silly. The stat in my market, Tom, you can correct me if yours is different, is every 13 to 10 years, no matter what, even including 1982, the market doubles.
Yeah, our stat has been almost every 10 years in the city of Toronto, the price is double, has been the trend we're on. And you know, when prices double from 200 to 400, it's like, okay, 400 to 800. Okay. 800 to 1.6, 1.6 to 3.2. Ooh, like that's when it's like the compounding doubling gets a little bit scary in terms of, so 15% in 5 years is like less than 3% appreciation a year. But I agree with what we had previously talked about, Steve, and another plug for the podcast coming up on Sunday. It's like we may have eaten a little bit of the appreciation for the future already, and now we're just jumping back down, so we're not going to quite see what we were used to.
Totally. I'm still at 11 likes. Geez, 25 people watching and 11 likes. That means they like Tom better than me. What are you going to do? Why does no one in government talk about, well, don't ask me about government. Why are they not talking about selling off Crown land to deal with the affordable housing in BC? Crown land in Canada is about 75%, BC 95%. So I don't know. I would assume, because at this point, I mean, if you're selling off Crown land, I would say Vancouver is probably not mostly Crown land, and that is the majority of the area. And a lot of Crown land, I'm sure, is mountains that probably aren't usable here. Or at least you got to get massive infrastructure. You can't just start a new town, right? You can't just like, hey, we're going to go start a new town in this area that has nothing around it. So right. I would suggest that that's probably, I mean, it's a good question. I know nothing about rural properties and how that all works. So I would be the wrong person to talk to about that.
You think someone from the government would ever come on our show? We'll try. We'll try. I'll reach out to people. I will. I'd love to chat with them.
You know, the problem I have with anybody in the government is they have to toe the line.
Yeah.
And they have to pander. And like here, I'm going to get roasted. Sean, thanks for apologizing that you didn't use me. Here's the issue I have with that. And I'm going to name names right now. There are the two at the top are Trudeau, let's say, and Poilievre, whatever.
On the conservative side, he's like the front runner right now. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't say his last name.
Yep.
Nolan Mathias calls him PP, so I like calling him that now too. I think both of them are extremely reasonable people when they are not on camera. Right. So like if you ever saw before Trudeau got elected, he did like round tables and stuff. And he was just like, I remember him kicking back and like, no, man, it doesn't work that way. Like, let's talk about this and this and this. And then he stands up and does his talk and talks all about his junk. And I'm sorry to tell you, conservatives, that Pierre guy that everybody thinks is going to be the savior does the exact same thing. Him talking about removing the governor of the Bank of Canada and using Bitcoin as the stable currency that's more stable than the Canadian dollar is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. So, you know, you just can't. I don't know that we would have anybody on that I feel would be honest enough with us to answer any of the questions that I would like answered. And I don't think politicians are skilled enough in this industry to answer those questions.
I've got an idea. So there's a podcast I listen to in the car when I'm driving to the cottage. It's called Smartless. And it's like Will Arnett, Jason from Ozarks, and
Bateman.
And every week only one of them knows who the guest is going to be, and they don't tell the others. So then they have this intro and they bring on a guest. So I think for a few of ours, I'm just not going to tell you, and I'm just going to bring on a guest, and we're just going to surprise you and see what happens.
I don't pay attention to social media anyway, so I know a lot of the people that you know that are on the influence side of things. I won't know them at all anyway. I have someone watching from Brazil, Tom. Nice. So beat that. So if anybody's on Tom's channel that's from further away than Brazil, let us know. And I'm up to 14 likes.
I'm at 15. Hey, if you're watching my stream, hit it.
Dislike Tom's stream, like my stream. Scholzy here says north of Maple Ridge, North Van, Coquitlam, Mission is all Crown land. There are some flat spots out towards Mission. I do know that once you start going north into those areas, again, you got to get development out there, and a lot of it's mountain range. So I would assume development's not as easy. But yeah, I mean, what portion of things do you think should be crown land versus not? I don't understand the crown land situation enough to really comment on it. Do you have government owned land everywhere where you are, Tom?
I assume so, but it's not as big of a talking point here. Like I
Yeah,
honestly
you're
don't know.
right in the city, right?
I don't know the answer. Like obviously we have government owned land. I just don't know exactly. It hasn't come up as a point of contention as like, well, let's build houses on it. So I
You
don't
know
think
what I'm terrified of, and I know you guys I think have the same thing. We have like a zoned agricultural land. If they get rid of that, which maybe some people will lobby for, that is so short-sighted because you got to get food to your people. And I know there's not a ton of food that we consume, but there's some food that we consume coming from those areas. So you can't start talking about taking away farmland and that sort of stuff.
Don't you know the jingle for Ontario? Good things grow in Ontario. We got to keep our farmland.
I did not know that. I did not know that at all.
Hey, Steve, I saw an article come out that is everywhere that said that the Bank of Canada says mortgage payments will be 30% higher in 5 years.
Yeah.
Are they not already 20% higher today from February if you had a variable? Like they're getting close.
I think the point of that article was to point out that the people that have just bought now that don't get the benefits of the price changing, that they had better prepare themselves for the future. Here's the other side of all these, again, crazy comments. Hey, you shouldn't buy now. You should do this. You should buy that. How about take responsibility for yourself? How about get some financial literacy and put yourself in a position where you're not doing that? Pay down a little extra on your mortgage, right? That's my focus right now. Like in my life, everything is how much can I pay off on this mortgage? Because my mortgage comes up next August and I don't want a bigger payment. So it's like, okay, if I can put down this much more per every check, I got to do it.
So this is where we need Nolan to come break this down for us. But I've had a few people that are about 2 or 3 years into a fixed rate that they got at 1.5 or 2%. And they recognize that freehold properties are coming down in value faster than condos are. And they're thinking, well, I would like to sell my condo now, and then I will buy a house because I will net be ahead of where I would have been earlier in the year. But I am 2 years into my 5-year fixed rate mortgage at 2%. And I'd like to keep that. I'd like to port that mortgage. But obviously porting it with the higher price, you're going to need more money. So
you're going to blend and extend or whatever that current thing is.
So the blend mortgage, right? That's what people have to consider to see if that is an option.
But here's the thing: you then need to work in: is it CMHC? Is it not CMHC? What amortizations? Because a lot of places will let you blend and extend, but you can't increase the amortization. So you may not qualify for as much. You still, I think, have to re-qualify under the stress test. So that may not be as simple as people think. What I would personally do in that scenario is if I bought within the last year and a half, hopefully I still have a 4.5, 5-year plan. And if that's the case, I'm going to make as many payments as I can because all that's going to principal. And then on the other side, hopefully I can look at where it's gotta be, right? Where the payment has to be.
Just as a reminder for anybody that just jumped on recently, Steve and I have started a podcast. It's going to be a weekly podcast coming out every Sunday on all the podcast apps that you listen to your podcast. Apple, Spotify. What's the one you use? Overcast?
I use Overcast, which I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, Overcast.
And on my channel, Tom, you're not on your channel, but if everybody switches to my channel and hits my like button right now, right here, there's a logo. A Tom Storey show logo that you're going to want to see. So leave Tom's channel right now, pop over to mine, and hit my like button to help me win the like contest. By the way, any more questions on your? Oh, sorry.
Just real quick, someone keeps bringing up my chat that they think I'm drinking a mega pint. It's Nest tea, okay? It's just Nest tea. I promise. I know we're wondering. It's Nest tea. It's not a mega pint.
I have a fresh bottle of 15-year Glenfiddich waiting at my house for a Friday night for me. So that's going to be good times. I know you're not necessarily as much into the happy hour as I am, Tom. So
I just like a nice cold sour beer on a summer day. That's
Oh,
my.
you're a sour beer guy. We can't do this anymore. This
They're
podcast is getting
they're
shut down.
delicious. You know what? You got to be enough of a grown up not to worry what other people think about what you drink or what you eat.
Yeah, well, you have to be enough of a grown up to drink your child's beer. That's what you have to do. Get back to real estate. Come on, let's get some.
Hey,
some
Steve, have you seen
questions
Top
here.
Gun yet?
This is a segue into Sunday's episode of the Storey Team, where we actually discuss Top Gun and how it compares to the soaring rental prices in Toronto. Does that work? Is that a teaser?
Maybe one
Nobody's
of the
gonna
best.
watch that.
Maybe one of the best thumbnails you've ever made. I will just give a little sneak peek. Hey, someone's asking, do you guys think interest rates will eventually have to be cut? It's ridiculous to assume they will never come down.
Oh, never say never. Just like all the crazy people that were like, Vancouver real estate's never going to go down. For sure, guys. It's cyclical. Everything is cyclical. The reason they are increasing interest rates now is because they see hurt coming financially for people in the future, and they need to be able to relieve that hurt. So they're kind of putting on the Band-Aid so they can take it off, if that makes sense. Maybe. I don't think that's a proper analogy, actually.
I love analogies. So I was thinking of one today about the real estate market, right? So let's say you get a train ticket and the train's at the train station. You jump on the front of the train, right? You jump on the train early. The train starts picking up speed. You're moving fast. So you got into the market, whatever year that was, you got into the market. The train's moving, but you're not quite ready yet. You don't want to get into the market, so you hang tight. You wait. And then you kind of jump onto the train at the second or third part of the train. And then there's a lot of people sitting on the sidelines over the last decade saying, I'm not jumping on that train. Prices are going to fall. And unfortunately, for a long time, that hasn't worked. I think right now, for the first time in a while, the train's slowing down and you can jump on. And that's not me being like, buy now, you have to buy now. But like, there are opportunities now if you have a long-term perspective and are going to be okay if there's a few months in the market that you're buying where maybe prices do go down even more, as long as you got what you were looking for. You can jump on the train now. It's not flying past you.
I did a video on how fast the market will drop, and this was a while back when I was when it was still going up and I was predicting it's coming down.
Yeah.
And I do think that the opportunity that most people will start jumping back into will likely be in August, September. Because I think all of that increase that we saw January, February, March, that was so crazy, is going to come off within the next 3 months after that. So likely by August, September, like it's going to, as fast as it went up, it's going to come down. The question is how much of that tip of the mountain is going to come off, right? So I think there will be a great opportunity, but people want to know, Tom, that it's okay to make the move. And right now they're being told by everybody that it's not okay.
Yeah.
So that's why they're not doing it. And that crowd or that herd mentality is the way it is, right? There's no changing people. I always say in this business, if there was no people involved, it would be a really easy business, but there's everybody's involved. So what are you going to do, right?
When it's going up really, really fast, you're like, well, I got to get in, because if I don't get in, it's going to go up too fast, and then I won't be able to get in, and then I'll never own, and it's like stressful, and it's like go, get all your ducks in a row, and then make an offer, lose, make an offer. It was absolute insanity. And now that we've shifted, I'm going to wait and I'm going to buy when things drop. Well, okay, they've dropped. How far will they continue to go? I don't know. But the most recent I had to this, right, was in 2020 for condos downtown, where they dropped for about 6 months in a row when the pandemic hit. And we didn't know the bottom happened until like 2 or 3 months later when we looked back. And we went, oh, that was it. So we'll be able, me and Steve can tell you when the bottom happens.
2 months later.
2 months after it happens.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got a comment on mine from somebody named AR talking about, paying for 50% overpriced homes. And that's what you're going to hear, right? You're going to hear a lot of, this is where I think values are. And so here's the thing. I'm not going to tell you the way you think about the market is the right way or the wrong way. I would assume that, if you're in the market and you understand that, you've made money over time, you're probably going to want to stay in the market. But realistically, if you are that person that says, okay, this is when I'm doing it, this is where I see values and where they're going to be, then set that goal.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what is I'm going to wait and see is a stupid thing to do. Is this the second time I've said stupid? It is I'm going to wait and see is a not thought out comment, because what that means is I'm scared. It doesn't mean I have a goal or have thought about what makes sense. It just means I'm too scared to do it now. So if you want that to be there, there needs to be some sort of goal at the end, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the amount of people that have waited for 2008 prices to slash 8% are going to be waiting still a long time, right?
Yeah. And I've even had a few of our clients that have reached out and said, hey, we want to be in this school district. School starts in September. We'd like to be in the house by July at the latest. They don't care that prices might drop a little bit after, because they want their kid in that school, right? So we talked about this at the beginning. There's just other factors involved here. And Dallas had commented on mine. They had also asked the question about the rates coming down eventually. And we had kind of covered this before, but just to go over it again. Do you think with the rental market going up that will cause investors to jump in at some point? And I can tell you, yeah, I got lots of people that we work with that are like being like, if you see something, send it to me, because I'm interested to jump in if I can get this rental. And I'm sure that's happening in your market as well, Steve.
Yeah, rentals are. So I just got a comment about rentals actually too, because they are now the hot topic, right? So
Yeah.
Our amazing viewer who is coming to Vancouver, apparently from Brazil, is talking about rental. And I would love to say your name, but and something Antonio. I can't say it. Sorry. Steve, do you think rental prices are going to be down in the early 2023 in Vancouver, around in the Surrey area as well? I don't think so, because what's driving, and again, if you want an hour-long explanation of this, listen to the podcast coming up on Sunday at 9 a.m. on the Tom Storey Show.
I was just about to say, I don't want an hour-long explanation.
Basically, the more people don't buy and get into the market right now because rates are going up and everybody's scared, the higher rental prices are going. Rental prices are insane right now. They're going nuts. And only getting worse.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to spoil alert the name of the episode that's coming out on Sunday morning, but that's what it's all about.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, we dig deep into it. And the thing is too, when sales are down, a lot of potential sellers moving forward will go, okay, well, looks like now's not a great time to sell, so I'm not putting my property on the market. Right? So inventory is building, but it's not because new listings are flooding the market. It's because old listings are still sitting on the market. And I think the only way we continue to see, so if we have a few months in a row here of that evening out and inventory levels not rising with new listings, that's when prices might level out. But we'll have to see how long that takes.
Is it safe, Tom, right now to convert from a variable to a fixed term?
You know, I would say
I asked the realtor, not the mortgage broker.
Yeah, no, I would ask a mortgage broker. I honestly, I don't really have an opinion on that, because it just depends on your situation, and depends on what type of variable you have.
Let's talk about your situation. Let's talk about your situation. Okay. You have always taken a variable.
Yes.
And I have always taken a fixed rate. Right now, that's not necessarily going to do as good for you. And for the first time in my, I don't know how many years I've owned real estate now. It's almost 20. The first time it's working in my favor. So for the first time in 20 years, I look like a smart guy taking a fixed 2 years ago.
Yes. Unless you ever get to a point in your life where you have to sell the property, and then you're going to pay a massive penalty to break the fix, where the penalty to break a variable, even at a higher rate, is only 3 months interest.
That is maybe the biggest factor on why I didn't that. And I have a very good tenant, but maybe the reasons why I didn't cash out just this last spring when, right, I made $250,000 in a year. Right. So
I don't know, like it's your risk tolerance level. And also there's different types of variables. There's static variables where how long you've had it, your payment might not actually go up. It might just be pushed more to interest. So interesting.
it's worked out well for you. Are you worried now though? Like you own a lot of property, right?
No, because I built this in. Like I have this in my models in my Excel sheets. Like the rate that it was at, I was way higher on what my expectation was that it could potentially go to, for what they were renting for. And yeah, with rental prices going up, I'm getting a lot more in rent than I was previously, anyways.
In your Excel spreadsheet, did you put in that I have 37 people currently on my channel and only 16 likes, and you only have 25 people viewing and like more likes than me? Did you build that into your spreadsheet?
I have 26 now. First of all, by the way, on YouTube I can't see this, but on my the streaming app I'm using to do this, I have a dislike now. I can see the dislike on my streaming app.
That must be from AR that's on my channel that's typing a bunch of negative stuff in there. I love negative people too because I am one of them. I like to hear it, but keep me honest, right? What are you going to do? Yeah, man, they happen. People that hit the dislike button, what are you going to do?
Oh, no, it's fine. I think if everybody is agreeing with you, you're not speaking what you honestly think.
What's the thing that Joe Rogan also says too, right? Like if you get like 100 people in a room, what are the chances that, one of them is just a complete dick?
You get one Steve in the room.
One me. Yeah.
The percentage is very high, right?
Yeah.
We don't.
But that isn't that why we are exploring continuing and expanding the Tom Storey Show on podcast apps everywhere, because we want to have these conversations. Because let's face it, man, our industry is like a lot of Mercedes and suits and I rented a house so I can make it look like I did a listing in that house, that sort of thing, right? And that's what our industry is, and we don't want it to be that, because you and I, with the associations that we have through our business, don't run into those people, right? There's a segment of the industry that is that, but that is not who you and I see. Like, I don't even, sometimes when I see some stuff go on with other agents, I'm like, that doesn't really happen, does it? Like, I feel like I'm naive maybe to half of it, because we are surrounded with such amazing people that we have to, I almost feel like it's our job to help get that word out and be like, no, there are good people out there that know what the heck they're talking about.
Totally. And that's why it shocks me sometimes as well when I see things happen in my market, and then you see the name of who it was and you're like, I've never even heard of them. And so, and I think, listen, part of it is there is a very small percentage in both of our markets. I think the actual math across North America, like, this isn't market wise, but like 25% of realtors do 75% of the business. I think that's the actual math, North America. There's a lot of people struggling to get by, and what people are willing to do to put food on their table to keep their family. I like, right. That's a thing. So not giving them any like out here, but I think that's got to be taken into consideration with any sales job.
I heard something on the Canadian Real Estate Show. Don't know if they're still watching, but if they are, you guys have better hit the like button. I heard something on there, and I think it was one of their guests brought up there was a survey done of agents that make over $250,000 a year.
Okay.
And it is, or was, and this is in Ontario, and it was exactly proportionate to the rest of the population that makes over $250,000 a year.
Interesting.
Exactly proportionate. So it was like, if there's this amount of people in the industry that are making, CEO money, there was also that same amount of people in the real estate industry making that money.
Huh. And was the real estate side of things, was that gross? Because like, so we run businesses, like we have revenue that comes in and then we have expenses. That was gross. And in a lot of these other jobs, that's salary, which is much better because you don't have expenses. And I'm not trying to say anything about that, whoa, us, but like just something to keep into consideration, right?
Are you a Real Estate Association of Ontario shill, Tom?
I guess I pay them. I pay them because I have to.
They don't pay me. I pay them. They're my shill.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, man. You got any other decent questions you want to address, or should we start maybe wrapping this up, because I'm getting discouraged. There is 43 people currently on my channel and only 17 likes, so I think you're going to win the like contest unless I get a late rally here.
I'm only at 19, and one of them's mine. I like my
okay, well, let's plug. I'm going to give everybody a last opportunity to get anything into the comments because we're going to sign off. But I want to just let you know, man, I'm super excited to continue this. We've got episode 1 of the Tom Storey Show up. If you're in the chat on my channel right now, the link to it is the first one in the chat. It's also the first link in the description of this video. New episodes every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. released not only on YouTube, but also on podcast apps everywhere. I think we even got Google, and if people listen to it on there, I was looking at the analytics, and I was super happy to say that we got just as many subscribers on the audio side as we did in the first week on the YouTube side. So 6 on both. But I'm looking forward to it. And if everything goes well, next week we will have our first guest.
And what I noticed from the last time we did a live stream was that there are some people that are watching but don't want to participate in the chat because they don't want to talk about it openly about what they're going on with. So if you have any questions, in Dallas, I see your question about the Toronto condo market. I can go in depth on that depending on your situation. So if you want to reach me, I will put my email in the chat right now on my chat. And Steve, do the same thing on your chat if people have questions.
On my channel, you can book a call with me right now down below in the description with just a few simple clicks at a time that works best for you. You can do the same thing on Tom's channel and on the Tom Storey Show. Links to all of our contact information and other social media is down below in every single episode. And please subscribe. We have a goal by hopefully the time that the new episode gets released Sunday morning to be at 100 subscribers, because there is a benefit when you reach 100 subscribers on a channel. You get to change the name of the channel in the URL, which will be super fun for us.
Oh, really? I didn't know that was a thing. Okay.
Yeah, that's fun. You get to change it to YouTube's /the Tom Storey's Show.
Okay. Well, this was fun. Great way to go into a weekend. I'm excited for this. I really am. Like, I think this is going to be a ton of fun, this show, and I'm excited for you guys to either watch along or listen along with us and see the guests that we have on. I think it's going to be awesome. And I appreciate you being here watching this stream. Like I said before, you got questions, let us know. And we'll keep coming back and giving you our honest opinion on what the heck is going on.
I have one more thing I want to try, and maybe we can get this going if we can create a culture of it. When you have questions or you want topics maybe discussed, or maybe even people that you think might be interesting to talk to in the Canadian real estate space or American real estate space maybe, or whatever, just put them in the comments on the Tom Storey Show channel, and we will for sure try. We want to grow it, right? We want to have cool conversations because people are interested in this stuff. As I kind of mentioned, it's right behind adult entertainment on the internet for website traffic. So real estate, there's something there to it. And let's face it, you and I like listening to each other talk. So what are we going to do? Well, I like listening to me talk. And
there you go. All right, guys.
And you like your name on the show.
Well, whatever. Whatever. Maybe we'll do a bit of an episode. We'll really dig into that. But thank you guys for being here. I really, really do appreciate it. Steve, any final words of wisdom?
No, man. I just have to remember to not swear before the stream ends, because sometimes I get caught at the end.
Yeah, when you click like end, it still goes for like 5 seconds. So yeah. All right, I'm gonna hit finish on mine. Thank you everybody for coming.